thank you both for the time out. Before we get into influences, I'd like to kind of go back to the first film and just kind of, can you both recall, what it was about, that first script and those characters that hooked you guys and made you want to, join this thing?
Oh my goodness. So actually, when I first read the script, they told me to read Madison's part, which was really interesting. And then I was like, wait, this CW is, I want to be her. And then lo and behold, yeah, just there's in the script, there's just so many montages and just it's written in a way that's very visual. So I was able to just visually see um, the film in my head as I was reading it, and I was like, "Wow, this is just going to be like the most fun." And then also to get to dive into this character that's so complex, I think it's an actor's dream to play a serial killer, especially one as so badass as CW, who rides motorcycles and scooters and boats and all of the things. So it was just like it was this big challenge that just had me in a chokehold. That's it.
Yeah, I think the first film reading the script, it was really unique idea and meeting with Kurt and hearing about how he wanted to make the film. Like, hey, this is going to be a really small group of people traveling around Thailand for 2 months. Are you down? Like sometimes it's going to be uncomfortable. Sometimes there's going to be really, really early mornings, or we're going to be taking a 4 hour car ride and then a ferry and then another boat and then this. It's like, are you down for an adventure? Heck yes. And then Madison, I related to her in the sense that she's this influencer, which I'm not, but as an actor, we're also encouraged to put ourselves out there in a way and promote ourselves and package ourselves, and we are a product. And that makes me as a person uncomfortable. It's my least favorite part of the job. And so to see someone like Madison, who's kind of landed in this place by the encouragement of her partner, who's not really that great to her, and she's struggling with her identity and how she feels about influencing in general. And I just really related to her, and I thought it was an interesting story to explore. So I loved Kurt's writing too. When he writes scripts, he inputs music, so you're reading it and then you get to like play the song as you're reading, which I think is a really fun way to go through a script. So yeah.
Obviously, the way the first ends, so many people were immediately like, I need to know more. There has to be more. How did you both feel when, Curtis came to you and said that, he did have a way to bring these characters back?
It felt like Christmas morning. It's what it felt like. Oh, it was so fun. And um it was so fun and unexpected at the time, but of course, we just had so much fun working together. So we were in right away. And he gave us the first 30 pages. And it had nothing to do with the first film. The first 30 pages, were set in France. And I was like, another dream destination? What do you mean? Of course we're gonna say yes as well. Um, but yeah, it was an instant yes from the get-go, and to come back as CW and play a different side, explore a different side of her was something that I was almost craving because there was a lot to CW in the first film, but there's so much more to her in the sequel.
Yeah, it was another coffee date with Kurt where, a few years later, he's like, "Do you want to grab coffee?" And then it was just kind of gauging interest. Like, I have an idea. I'm thinking about making a sequel. Can I send you some pages and see if you're interested? And the first 30 pages were great. And of course, we're down. Cass and I have gotten so close over this, like the idea of getting to travel around and make a movie with her again, with Kurt, with our cinematographer, getting the gang back together. It was a no-brainer.
And what do you think it is about, this dynamic between CW and Madison that everybody, the audiences are so fascinated with? I mean, the first film was just now dropped on Netflix as well as being on Shudder, and it's, performing, in top tens, around the world. What is it about these two women that audiences are gravitating towards?
Ooh, I mean, I think CW is just so mysterious. And she really does do whatever her heart desires in the moment. And I think that, I feel like you and I, Emily, have started doing that this year. We're just saying, we're just saying hell yeah to things that we want to say yes to. And so CW does have a lot of that. And I think it's really admiring, minus the murders. We don't need to be doing that. But I would kill for you, Emily. I need you to know
Ah,
that.
thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, I think CW and Madison are an unlikely pairing.
Yeah.
I think that's what people gravitate towards. You're like, you have this like, influencer type girl, and you have this mysterious, cool girl who's going to show her around, or so she thinks, and we see things take a turn, and then we get to explore a completely different side in this second film, and I think that's what the audience should look forward to. Those waiting for the sequel to drop, but I think that's what draws these people in, and I think learning in the first film, Madison is more capable than one might have originally thought.
And
So I
that
think
just keeps getting built on in the
Mhm.
sequel. So
Mhm.
I think people are really, who's mysterious now? Madison.
It's true. It's true. There is kind of a little bit of the tables turning because the this one we do find out a little bit more about CW away from murdering everybody. When we start the film, she's in a new relationship. She's very happy. She's very content. Whereas Madison is kind of she's still kind of reeling and from the trauma of the experience that CW put her through. So it must have been quite nice for you both to get to play the kind of the yin to the yang in the first film.
Yeah, I loved exploring that side of CW, the side that she's in love, and everything is beautiful and perfect and picturesque. And so that was something I that kind of came out of nowhere when I first read the script. I was like, oh, this is interesting. And so that was really exciting as the actor in me to play that side of her.
Yeah, I think our characters become much more dynamic in the sequel, and I think it's fun to see the tables turn and to see us, almost switch in a way. And I loved the opportunity to explore the other side of Madison, um, because she's been through a lot at this point, and that could really beat someone down and make them give up, or you can become motivated, and she kind of has a new obsession and a new drive, and I think it's really fun to see her go transform in that way.
Mhm. And without sort of any spoilers, throughout the sequel, there is some combat. How did the pair of you find learning the fight choreography?
Oh my gosh. I've said this before. It was my favorite part of the shoot. So I come from a dance background and I've done quite a bit of martial arts in my past. And so I was just like so excited to dig into that scene and to play around. There was so much playing. It felt like we were at camp. It felt like we were at summer camp actually when we were shooting that because there was a pool right there. There was I don't know, crafty. I don't know. It really felt like we were at summer camp and we were playing around with props. And so for me, it was so, so exciting. And then Emily's great. Emily was so fun to fight.
Yeah, I mean, we got to start fight training first. So we're still in Vancouver and we're working with Kirk, our stunt coordinator. And yeah, Cass is like so capable physically. There's no one I trust more than her. And it was really fun to work together and find that and then get there on the day and really kind of explore our space in a new way. The fight choreography totally changed because we're in a new location, and we're finding, there may be some props and things used, and the tone kind of shifts, and we end up just having a lot of fun. Like things get a little silly, but in the best way. And I would say the audiences throughout all the festivals have really loved the fight sequence. It's our favorite. And I think it turned out really great. It took us 5 days to shoot, and it was the first thing we filmed when we landed in Bali. So very fun.
I mean, I can see you both, in like a ballerina too. I can see you guys, with Anna de Armas, taking down like the John Wick types and things.
Yes, give me a flamethrower. That's what she uses in that movie. Yeah.
It is. It is. And Cassandra, in addition to playing CW, you also oversaw the costuming for the film. Can you talk a little bit about, how, clothing works as an extension to these characters? Because, there's some very big personalities in this film.
Yes, there is. And yeah, it was such a challenge, a huge challenge to take that on, but I'm so glad that I did it because I feel like it made me understand my character and also everyone else's characters on a deeper level. Um, because we have some pretty interesting folks in our script. And so to do like the red pill guy, what does that guy wear? It was really, really fun to explore, and that was very collaborative with the other actors as well. I sat them down. I was like, how do you see where do you see this guy or this person going in terms of wardrobe? What do you like and don't like? And so it was very collaborative and very, very fun um, to explore that with them.
And has working on these films made you both kind of reassess your relationship with social media and the internet?
Oh,
I would say yes, but I was already hesitant. I think that's why I related to Madison. Like, I just think the internet is a scary place and everybody lies, and I don't trust anything.
yeah. I don't know. I also dislike, I have a love-hate relationship with social media because I find myself doom scrolling and I feel it affecting my brain. And so when that happens, I have to just turn it off. But then as actors, we're also forced to make TikToks and like be on these apps and be present and engage. And so it's a love-hate thing because I understand and I see the benefits of it as well. I feel like social media has connected the world in a way that I don't think any of us really saw coming. And so I see the pros and cons, but the cons are starting to outweigh the pros, I think. So that's really scary.
Yeah. And prior to influencers, releasing this film has been on the festival circuit. I think you've played pretty much everywhere in the world. How have you kind of found that experience, traveling around and sharing this film with everybody? And how have you found that, has there been any differences between, different countries with, what they respond to more with the film?
Oh,
I would
yeah.
say so. You know what was really interesting? We premiered at Fantasia in Montreal, and I would say 90% of our cast and crew were with us. And I just remember that being just such a rambunctious crowd. It was so vocal. And then our next screening was at Fright Fest UK, which was also so exciting. And that was an 800-person theater, and it was sold out. I'm like, this is going to be crazy. And it was silent. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so weird. This audience is so quiet. But we heard after that maybe that was just how the audiences were in the UK. And I also remembered that in Montreal we were sitting with like 15 of our friends watching this thing we made. So how rambunctious it was probably 90% us. But
I think
then
it
we
was.
also went to Utah recently for Film Quest, and we were the closing film there. And I would say it's a really small kind of venue. And all of those people had been at this festival for 12 days getting to know each other. So it was like a bunch of friends hanging out in a living room. And that was a really rambunctious crowd as well. So
Shout out to
yeah,
Film
it
Quest. That
shifts.
was
But I
fun.
think overall, everyone seemed to really like it.
Yeah, Film Quest had the most like physical reactions. We were sitting in the back, and I just was at that point. We've seen the movie so many times, so I'm people watching, and I'm just watching people go ah ah. It's really funny.
Nice. Well, thank you both so much for your time. Best of luck with the release of this. And, I'm going to pester Kurt for Influencers 3.
Yes, do that.
Please do.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. Good to see
Thank
you again,
you.
Kat.